Okay, I'm back. All right, so here is video 3. And today I'm going to talk to you about putting it all together. How do you put together the $1,000,000 equation and the implementation and what that implementation looks like in your particular business? So I'm going to use my business as an example, my telephone business, because of course the whole $1,000,000 equation started because people asked me, well, how in the world were you able to build a $1,000,000 business? Less than 3% of all businesses ever reach the $1,000,000 level. Less than women's owned businesses, less than 9% of all of them, less than 1/10 of 1% of African American owned businesses ever reach the $1,000,000 level. So how are you, little black girl, able to do this? And I've had people actually say that to me. God bless America. But anyway, so I had to show them how I put the $1,000,000 equation in action. And so today we're gonna do that. I've got a lot to work with you, and I got my notes over here with my green pen because everybody knows I always have a green pen. And some examples. I'm gonna move through them fairly quickly though. So if you have any questions, be sure to just leave them below. Here's one thing though. If you haven't gone through the $1,000,000 equation checklist video, that's the very first video, please go back and watch that one. And if you haven't gone through the implementation video with my implementation tricks of, there's only 3 ways to grow, and then what section of your business are you working with, then this is going to be kind of overwhelming to you. Okay, so please go back and watch those. I think up above you can see that they're listed. As long as you can see them in color, that means that they are live and that you can click that link and you can actually go back and watch them. So all right, let's get started. Right, we've already spent 2 minutes just chatting. Let's get started. All right, so here's where I got a question. Right, I got a question that came to me during this process of people watching videos, and they always private message. It's like, okay, hi. So in the private message, the gentleman said, I've been really at this for a while, and I've only got a couple of clients, and I don't know how I'm ever going to really build this. I make flyers, I hand them out. I see other people and I ask for referrals, but it's just not growing quick enough. So I'm not going to tell you his business to protect him, because obviously he didn't want everybody to know. That's why he sent me a private message. But here's what happens is that we don't have a crystal ball, and I don't know when somebody's ready to buy. I don't know when they're ready to buy, and neither do you. So if you decide that on Wednesday you're finally going to implement, okay, because we won't even go into how sometimes we are not consistent. Okay, I'm not gonna look your way, so I'm not looking at you, but we all know that sometimes we're not as consistent as we can be. But if you're not consistent, then you make it very difficult for your prospect to get ready to buy from you, right? So let me show you, on this little diagram how it works. One of the things that happens is that, okay, your customer is here. Ooh, this gets a little dark. Your customer is here. This is where you want to make money. So these little ticks are all of the things that you're doing to move them from here to here, because you can't just do one thing, okay? You can't just hand out a flyer and expect for some to come in. Sometimes it happens, but it doesn't come in the rush that we all think it's going to. That's why we talked about in the $1,000,000 equation that there's 85 ways to get a customer, and every single month I did all 85 of them, okay, to build my $1,000,000 business. So if you're not willing to work, me and Rihanna, work, tell me you work. Okay, I digress sometimes. But the work comes from constantly doing and making sure that we're ticking more of these down here. So most of y'all are right here, and your customer's still right here. They're not ready to pay you yet. They're waiting to see if, number one, if you're for real. Number two, if this makes sense to them. If you're the right fit for them. They're looking for those things. And when you become inconsistent, and when you are not automatically implementing consistently, then they go, this person isn't for real. I don't want to see them again. They don't have enough to make them say yes right at that moment. Now, it could be just because your particular product is not something that's urgent and it's not something that they have to do today, right? Or they have another provider of it right now. And so you haven't done enough to move them from their previous person. So that's why I always tell you that you have to be consistent. And when you are consistent, it all turns around. So right now, it might be that you're just not doing enough and that you haven't been doing enough a long enough period of time. So I always get this question, well, how are you able to rebuild your business in 5 months? Well, number one is that I already had a business before that went under. So it's not that I went after those existing customers, but what I already knew, what I already learned was that consistency was key. So, excuse me. I've got something going on in my nose, must be, I don't know, but I'm not going to start over. I'm just going to keep talking. So it was, I knew that I just needed to be consistent and I needed to just keep going to get to the end, because a lot of us kind of stop and we give up too soon. We give up before people are actually ready. All right, so let's talk about what I did at Fresh Start, right? So let's go through, if you have your MDE checklist in front of you with the $1 million equation, all the things that you need to build your $1 million business. If you don't have that, it's probably because you didn't go back and watch video number 1. So if you go do that, you can pause this and come back to it. Go do that. Go get your checklist so that you have that in front of you. Because once you have the checklist in front of you, then as I go through each of these, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about, of how I implemented the $1 million equation in my particular business. And today is all about success stories. So what happened with it? Well, I built a multi-million-dollar business. That's what happens. Okay. I know, I get close and I start going, ooh, what's going on with my hair? Okay. All right. That's why I should have just had this on the right whiteboard and instead of just sitting here in my office, but sometimes it is what it is. All right. So what was my great solution? So my great solution, that's the first part of the $1 million equation. So my great solution was that I targeted credit challenge customers. Okay, there's a really long story of how after I filed bankruptcy and lost it all, I was overwhelmed with how many expenses I had just to turn on my basic things that I needed in my house. So I went to go and turn on the power at my house and they wanted a $500 deposit. $500? Who has $500? I was like, I just filed bankruptcy. I don't have $500. Are you kidding me? I was like scratching my head going, no, I can't do this. What are you talking about? So I started thinking, well, telephone companies are charging people that exact same thing. So what if I didn't charge them that? And I targeted people who had been disconnected before, who were credit challenged, and I didn't charge them a deposit. Could I really help them? And could I stay in business? Because that was the other thing. Okay, now I've got this crazy stuff going on there. So I figured that out. So that was my great solution, all right? So my target market matched with it, right? What problem am I solving? Well, I'm solving for credit challenged people that they no longer need great credit to get a telephone in their house. Okay? So now I've got number 1, check, great solution. Number 2, the target market, check, great solution. Okay, number 3, what's the third piece? The third piece is a marketing calendar. So today that I'm shooting this video is June 23rd, okay? On June 23rd, what I would be doing in my telephone business is I would be reconnecting the people who had been disconnected during the 15th cycle. Because normally, they paid on the 15th, they were late on the 17th. On the 20th, if we didn't have their payment, we disconnected them. So normally around the 23rd is when they'd come in, they'd make their payments, and we'd reconnect them. Also by the 23rd, the billing cycle for the first had to have already been out. We also sent out our monthly newsletter on the 23rd, and on the 23rd of the month, I created whatever the promotion was for the 15th of the next month. So as you see, I had a marketing calendar that I was implementing every single day of my business, and I woke up and knew exactly what I was supposed to do on that day. So when I work with entrepreneurs and I go into businesses and I work with them, I go, okay, what are you supposed to do today? Not a clue. Not a clue. I'm like, well, let me see your to-do list, right? They're allowing the business to just work in a reactive manner. You cannot do that and get to the $1 million level and sustain it. You can get there, but you sure can't sustain it. You need to know what you're doing in your business, and you need to constantly be implementing marketing strategies. If you're not, you're going to be broke. It's not going to work, right? So I need you to focus on this part in putting together the marketing calendar. Okay, and that's what I did at the telephone company. All right, so now let's talk about the FU. The FU part of it is the follow-up, right? It's not, I know. We all know I have a potty mouth, but it's not this piece. So the FU is the follow-up sequence. What kind of follow-ups do you have? So let me just explain to you really quickly the follow-ups that we used for people who didn't know us. So remember, we worked on the 3 sections, right? So the people before they know us, the experience of the purchase of when they're buying from us, and then after. Okay, so one of the really important places that I needed a follow-up is once people call. So if they called and said, hi, I want information about your service, I noticed that we weren't closing them right when they called. They go, okay, well, let me think about it. Plus, they couldn't sign up over the phone. They had to come in. So, we got a lot of phone calls, but people weren't coming in. So how did I fix that? Is I put in place an awesome follow-up sequence. So how this worked was, when you called us and you said, hi, I'm interested in your phone service, can you tell me about it? We would say, may I have your address so that we can make sure that we provide service in your area? Well, when they gave it to us, we really didn't need it because we provided service in the whole area. I know, sneaky. But what I did with that is now I had their address. Now I could follow up with them. This was before email. Oh, I'm really dating myself. You see all that gray, all the gray in my hair. So now you know that, yes, I am a little older, as cute as I am. But it was before email. And, email, you needed permission. With direct mail, I don't need any permission. I can mail to you as much as I want to. So we followed up with them by sending them an enter to win. So the enter to win postcard, yes, enter to win. So every week we gave away a free activation. So a free sign up fee, we gave one away. And we put everybody who called that week into the drawing. Uh-oh, here comes the nose thing again. Oh my God. Right? But I'm not going to stop. We're just going to keep going. Okay. So with that, with the free drawing, how did I afford to do this? So that's the question that I get all the time. All right. So right here on my desk is this yellow. All right. So I went to Office Max. I can even tell you, Office Max, Office Depot, Staples, they all have them. And I bought cardstock in this yellow. And what I did was on my computer, I wrote enter to win in big black letters, call our number, okay, for free activation. I printed 6 of them on one of these. Okay, so it was done like this, 3, 3, and 2. All right, so there were 6 postcards on one. So I bought 250 of these, and it cost about, at the time, about $12. Now they cost about $17 to buy the pack. It comes in regular paper packs, okay? I bought those. I took them to the counter. They printed them for me on the cardstock, and then they cut them for me. So we had those in our office at all times. And I'd buy a roll of postcard stamps. So postcard stamps at that time was about 27 cents a piece. Now they're about 34, but I had them. So once a week, we took all of the phone calls and all of the addresses, and we mailed out those postcards. We'd average about 50 a week. So even the highest was about 100. So 100 cost me $34 in postage, and it costs 10 cents for every one of these. Okay, so 6 were on a page, so I only needed 20. Okay, so 6, that's 120 postcards. So I only needed 20. So it cost me $2 to print them and $34 to mail them. So $36 to get to 100 people every single week to ask them, are they interested in the free one? Well, guess what? They all would call and say yes. They wanted a free activation. So here's where the really sneaky part comes in. Is I picked one winner. So 1 out of the 100, and then the rest, all 99. Yes, all 99 of the other ones got the free second place winning. Everybody wins. So second place was 50% off the activation. So it gave them a reason to come in. They all came in. I was still making money. But you see, the real thing that I want you to see here is that I had a follow-up system. I knew what my follow-up was. Every time somebody called, I knew what step 2, step 3, step 4 was. And we did it every single week to build the business so quickly. Ta-da! Right. So when I did radio ads to make people call, so many people think that that's all that they have to do. Well, I'm on the radio. Well, no, you need the follow-up to after. So after they called and we asked for their address, then we followed up with them. And we did it every single week. We kept going, just kept building. So you see how it just builds a firestorm? And I don't know. I don't have that crystal ball. I don't know when you're ready to buy. But here's what I do know. Is that you've now raised your hand and told me that you were interested in my product. So what I need to do is I need to follow up with you over and over and over again until I take you from, remember here? Until I take you from here all the way to here, the money, right? You see, practical stuff that you do in the follow-up that makes this work. All right, so let's get to what happens after the follow-up. Then now that I have you as a customer, all right, the next piece of the $1 million equation is the retention. How do I keep you? So how we did at my telephone company is we sent birthday cards, we sent birthday specials, we gave them discounted off of new products and services that we had. We also sent a wowing welcome sequence. When they came in, we did a whole lot of stuff to get them really, really excited. We had a big ass Christmas party every year where I gave away gifts and lots of stuff that, I mean, gift cards to Walmart, gift cards to Foot Locker, to Toys R Us, whatever. So we gave away $100 gift cards. But how you got to come to that party is you needed to pay your bill on time. So as long as you paid your bill on time, you got a ticket that went into this big ass Christmas party. So you see, I wasn't just taking their money. It was fun to be a part of the Fresh Start experience. That's what you have to make in your business. You have to make people want to be with you, want to stay with you, just like in any relationship, okay? You can't just take their money and then not follow up with them, not move forward. Can't. You have to create some type of existence where they can't wait to come to your store, to your shop, to your business and be a part. Just like those folks that are following me or that like my fan page or that are in our private Facebook group. If you're not there, you need to come on and play with us. Or who come out to MDE Live. It's an experience. It's not just, oh, okay, well, now I'm going to take your money and I'm not going to teach you. No. When we get together, we have a really good time. No. You're coming to Vegas? Thank you. Not only do you have a really good time, but we also make sure that you learn a lot and that you're there implementing these strategies in your business. Okay. Reactivation. So our reactivation system is, look, I knew the only reason why you normally left us is because you didn't pay your bill. Okay, there wasn't, I mean, come on. What telephone company do you know that's having a big Christmas party that you're all invited to, that are sending you birthday cards, that are taking care of you? None, right? So I knew that we were doing a great job there. But one of the things that I wanted to make sure of is even if they were disconnected, I didn't want them mad at us. And I didn't want them out there saying bad things about us because I wanted them to come back. Because here's where I made my money. It wasn't in turning on the service. It was in keeping the service and them paying every single month, right? And that's how, it's great to sign up 40 people and you have one transaction, but 40 people next month turns into 80 people. Next month turns into 120 people. The next month turns into 160 people. The next month, 240, right? It just keeps going bigger and bigger and bigger. So you want to keep as many as you can. And when you don't, then we created a reactivation system. So mine was a get out of jail free card. So I'd send it to them and go, I don't know what happened. All I know is that you're no longer with us. I'd love to have you back. So how about you use this get out of jail free card and come back and hang out with Fresh Start again. That way you can be able to come to our big ass Christmas party and make sure you got a phone in your house and that everything is great. Okay. Took the onus off of them, but every 90 days we did the reactivation system. Now what's really funny, okay, is we did this every 90 days, and every 90 days we'd have some of the same people that we sent it to. And every time they'd come back and reactivate, and then they'd stay 2 months, and then they'd, be off. And I sat there and I went, these customers thought that they were getting over, right? That they were manipulating the system and that they were manipulating me. But they had no idea that I was manipulating them. What I wanted was that 2 months of service. I didn't care about the fact that they didn't pay the last one because the way that I set my company up, I was never out more than 6 days worth of service. And 6 days worth of service cost me less than $2. So when they came in and paid their bill, work, 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 work. Tell me if you work, work. You don't know till you don't. Okay. But that, right? It's like, okay, this is how this works. Okay. But you have to have an alarm bell so that you automatically know, like, when they're there, when they're not there. All right. So our referral system. So a telephone company that sends you a birthday card, that throws a big ass party for you, do you think they're already telling their friends? You damn right they are. I mean, I didn't even have to give them a referral bonus or a referral discount for them to talk about my company, because my company was so different than any experience that they've ever had anywhere else. So they were already talking about us. But just in case, every single month, we did a monthly promotion. So we're in Vegas, right? And so we did things that the casinos were doing. So I had a monthly thing where we did a roll of dice. And I don't think I have any. I used to have them always like sitting around just to remind me of it. But we had jumbo dice that were this big. And then I had some that were this big. That they'd roll the dice. And whatever they got on the dice, they got to take as a discount off of their monthly bill. The only caveat is that they had to pay their bill on time. Okay. So when they got like the big thing, so we had pick a card. So when they got an ace or a joker, they got a free month of service. And we take their picture and we put them on the wall. So the next time they'd come pay their bill, they wouldn't come by themselves. They'd come with their friends and they'd bring a card load and go, girl, I want you to see how cute my picture is on the wall. It's like, really? Really? I had no idea it worked, but when it worked, I kept doing it over and over. I kept giving them reasons to have their picture on the wall. We sent a monthly newsletter. We'd feature their pictures in the monthly newsletter so that now they're showing their friends. All of these things were generating amazing referrals for us. But I had a whole system laid out that if you've never seen that training, I have a whole training on each piece of the $1 Million Equation where I show you templates and checklists and all of this stuff. But just by doing my monthly promotions, it made things crazy. And you think that they'd tell their friends. No, I've got my notes here, so that's what I keep looking at. All right. And so we talked about 85 ways the other day, but the 85 ways that I used in my telephone company were everything from sending emails to throwing a party, because eventually we got email, to throwing a party, to creating, we even had discounts on the bottom of their receipts. So when the customer would come in to pay their bill, we'd say, thank you so much for your payment. And then on the bottom, hey, refer a friend and get $10 off. Here's $20 off if you decide to add an accessory or add cell phone service or anything else that we had. We had a way of putting that on the bottom of the receipt. It's like I used every way imaginable to get a new customer, because I knew that if I wasn't constantly adding new and replacing my existing, that eventually I was going to run out of business. And if you are not frightful of that happening in your business and always on this grind, then it's never going to happen. All right, so let's get to, the one accelerator. So the other thing on the checklist is that you need to pick one of the accelerators, right? Well, at Fresh Start, I picked all three. So let me explain that to you. So the first accelerator is affluent pricing, right? Okay, so here's what I did with affluent pricing is normally local telephone service in our town at that time was about $18. $18 a month. I charged $49.05. So I charged triple what everybody else was charging. And I say, well, how are you able to do that? Well, because I knew how much money I needed to be open. So here's the mistake that I see entrepreneurs make is that I said, okay, so how'd you come up with your price, right? How'd you come up with your price? Well, I said, I bet you it was one of three ways. Number one is you called and you surveyed what everybody else is doing, and then you said, I'm not going to be the highest, I'm not going to be the lowest, so I'm going to come in somewhere in the middle. Okay, but how do you know that you can make money at that number, right? You don't know it. Or you take, well, it cost me $10 to provide this service or to these glasses, right? So we're going to sell these glasses, and these glasses cost me $2 to buy. So I'm going to add just a couple of pieces, right? A couple of dollars to it. So instead of $2, it's going to be $10. So it'll be $12, right? But you don't take into consideration all of the other things that you have to pay for. So one of my private clients is an eyeglass place, right? And I saw that he was buying these glasses, Jimmy Choo, for $2. But he was selling them because they were Jimmy Choo for $475. $475. And the reason being, because that's what the market believed that the price was. So when you go get a haircut, right? And it's just you, and it's you and your service, you go, okay, well, I can do a haircut for $3 because, if I can get $200, that'll pay my booth rent. It's like, are you kidding me? First of all, how are you going to get $200? All right. And second of all, don't discount because your service is the freest service ever. Don't do that. You should be charging the highest amount in this affluent pricing. That's what you really want to do. You don't want to be the lowest. And you want, so that now you can make deals. You can discount. You can you can do promotions, and you can still pay to send birthday cards. Take care of your customers. Throw a big ass Christmas party. Yes. Okay. So affluent prices. So yes, I charged affluent prices because I was taking on a whole bunch of risk because of who my target market was, right? All right. So let's get to the second accelerator that I used was joint ventures. So, talk about referrals. I got referrals from folks you'd never even imagine. So one of them was a bail bondsman. So our phone service was one of the only phone service that allowed you to get calls from jail. How we found that out, I won't tell you about the employee who I won't tell you about how we figured that out. But once I figured that out, I took advantage of that opportunity. And I started talking to bail bondsmen who would, when they would come in and cry about their loved one and how they needed to talk to them, they would give them an activation certificate. And so the person would go home and call us and say, I need to switch my service to you because my loved one is in jail and they're going to be there a minute and I need to be able to talk to them. We'd say, okay, great. Thank you so much. I had a joint venture partnership with a local car dealership who, when cell phones became really big, then people stopped using their home phone, right? But in order to get a car loan at most dealerships at this point in time, you had to have a home phone. So they would give them an activation certificate so that they could come over and activate their service with us. We worked with a bank who had Fresh Start Checking. That was just like Fresh Start Telephone, my company name. They still have that program, by the way. I did a joint venture inside of a payday loans because people who normally get their phones disconnected have credit challenges and go and get payday loans. So I did partnerships with them. I did partnerships with an insurance company. Hi, Patrick, if you're watching. We did a lot of business together. Oh, my bankruptcy attorney. So everybody knows that when I built my first one, I lost it all after 9/11, and I ended up having to file bankruptcy. Well, I went to my bankruptcy attorney and I asked him, okay, so what are you doing with the people who come to file bankruptcy with you? And he goes, well, I have to keep their documents 4 years, but they just sit there. I said, really? You never contact them? You don't follow up? He's like, no, they can't file bankruptcy again for another 7 years, so why would I? I said, oh, well, can I have them? And he's like, sure, Sean, I don't care. I don't know what you're going to do with them or what you think you're going to get from them. Well, I knew that I had filed bankruptcy, and since I had filed bankruptcy, I had a story to tell them. And so I talked to them about, well, here's how I got back on track, is I made sure that I knew exactly how much my bills were each month. That was my great solution at my telephone company. And I talked to them about, a company who cares about them. I got new customers from that. So we had tons of joint ventures that we worked on. You should be looking for those joint ventures in your business. And then the last one is one that's obvious, and that is continuity, and that's the accelerator that we talk about, right? So not only did I get them to spend $50 a month, the $49.05, but I sold them other things. So now they were spending up to $100 a month. Well, $100 times 12 is $1,200 a year. So I don't know if you've ever seen the matrix that I do out, but I'll pop that in this video before we publish it live. But if you see, like right there in the middle is that 1,000 customers times $1,000 will get you to the $1 million mark. That's my favorite way to do it. So the continuity helps you get there faster, quicker than you can ever get there. All right. So let's. That's how I use the $1 million equation in my own business. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about other businesses and how they took these same concepts. Okay? Same concepts. Because you might be saying, Rochelle, I see how that works in your business. Wow, you're so clever. But how does that work in my particular business? Okay. So let's talk about Dawn. So Dawn is a nurse who she wanted a totally different business, and she wanted to be a consultant to personal injury attorneys and help them determine what the values are that they could sue for. Okay. So I met Dawn a couple years ago. I was speaking at a local event. She came up, she bought my book, she bought the $1 million equation. She's like, do you really think this will help me in my business? I said, absolutely. So she also bought a consultation that day too, so that we could sit down and go through it. She came at the consultation, already read through my book, already had it dog-eared, and had everything that she wanted me to talk about when she came. And so she's like, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing these 3 things, how can you help me? So one of the things that she was doing was an email newsletter. I said, this is great, but your email newsletter headline says email newsletter number 1. You need to change those. Let's make those more compelling. What is it inside the newsletter that you're talking to people? You need to explain your great solution, right? Who are you sending it to? She told me personal injury attorneys. Great. So she had a good target market already. All right. When are you doing it and what are you sending? So we created her marketing calendar so that she knew every single month what she needed to be sending out, how she needed to be following up with her existing clients, because she had 2 already. So we went back to them immediately and talked to them about doing other projects for them. They didn't buy immediately, but they ended up later on in that year. She took the 100-day challenge and told me all the things that she was going to implement in her business to get there. At the end, here's what else she did that made it really work for her, is that she became the authority in her industry. So one of the things we talk about in the $1 million equation for doctors is the celebrity factor. Is you can't just be regular Joe. If you are, well, they're just going to pay you regular prices. If you want to get affluent prices, you have to be the expert. You have to be the one that everybody wants to be with or to follow or do. That's what she became by doing her email newsletter. She became the authority. She didn't just say, buy from me. Hello, buy from me. Hello, will you buy from me? She didn't. She gave her opinions on recent cases. She gave her opinions on what she thought that they should do. So they felt very comfortable by putting her on the stand. And before you knew it, well, within 100 days, she had replaced her income, her nursing income. And where we are, it was almost 6 figures. She had replaced it in 100 days by implementing all of the things from the $1 million equation. Always fun. All right. Let's talk about Walter. So Walter is an accountant. Walter has a service business. He was just doing taxes. Okay. So we applied the $1 million equation. We looked and we saw, well, we needed to reactivate some old clients. So we created a reactivation campaign for him. Second thing we needed to do was find something else to sell them. You remember there's only 3 ways to grow. So he was only getting money from them 1 time a year instead of monthly, instead of other ways. So we implemented other products and services. So now he's getting money from these same customers 3 to 8 times a year more than he was before. In 1 year's time, we doubled his practice. So as you see, you don't have to do all of the 8 steps, right? You don't have to do all 9 to get to where you want to be, but you do have to pick a couple to concentrate on first that are going to catapult you from where you are right now to where you want to be. And then, I always talk about Dr. Wells, because your business has got to be easier than selling a pap smear. Okay? Gotta be easier. So with him, we found a loyal customer base, but what he didn't have in place was a referral system. They didn't know that they were supposed to refer. They didn't know how to refer. They didn't know how to bring it in. So we created his CS, his celebrity factor. We made him a star. We got him local TV. We wrote him a book. We made him the expert. And then we made it very easy for them to refer to him. So what were his results? He got 157 new referrals in 1 month, 389 for the year, and we took him from 384,000 to 1.2 million in 9 months. In 9 months. Yeah. All just doing the same thing. Now, we did retention for him. We sent birthday cards to all of his patients. He had a monthly newsletter. We reactivated old patients that hadn't seen him if they missed their appointment. So we were using all of the $1 million equation. I just want you to know, except for we did some joint ventures, but not many. So we did everything except for his accelerators. But we had a great solution, that he guaranteed he's going to spend at least 30 minutes with each patient during their appointment. How many times have you gone to the doctor and they go, they don't even look up, right? Okay, here's your prescription. Okay, we told him that we wouldn't do that. We targeted a specific woman who wanted better service. We had a marketing calendar every single month. I was sending out stuff for him and making sure that it happened. We did the retention strategies, which was his newsletter, his wowing welcome, we gave him a gift just for coming in, everything. We did reactivation, we had the referral contest, and then we did 85 ways to get a new patient. My agency implemented for him all 85 ways, and that's why he was able to grow so quickly from 384 to 1.2. But just in case you need one more, we have a implementer of the month that we normally do at MDE, and so if you're on our list, you'll get a couple of those over the next couple of days so that you can hear their stories, you can hear them telling it to you. And I want you to take some time and some notepads to really listen to them tell you how they implemented the $1 million equation. But Miles, so I talk about him all the time because number one, he's still with me 4 years later. He was a member of my mastermind. So, you know that things work when I've had a 10-year-old mastermind that I finally stopped just because I got so busy that now I only do it a couple of times a year with invited guests where we get together, we work on your business the whole time that you're there. You get an opportunity to ask the group, you get to present to the group your challenges, and me and the group break down your business and give you, action steps by steps to how to build it. But so Miles was in my mastermind. He was also just a coaching client. So my agency didn't do anything. Now we do for him because he's gotten so big. But before it was just him. So when we first met Miles, he was doing about $80,000 a year. He was selling about 10 to 12 quarts, making $2,500 on each. Not really doing a really great job of it. We took Miles from 80,000 to now this year he's done 812,000, and it's July. We haven't even got July's number, but that was as of June. So he's on track to do $1.6 million this year. Last year he did $1.3 million. So he's just growing every single year. And one of the things that we applied the $1 million equation to his business. People are making big purchases. So, what's that experience look like? So we had him, he's got a wowing welcome sequence of what happens before they know him. He's got a 38 step. It's so beautiful that they can't help but pick him. Okay. He sends a tennis racket if they want a tennis court. He sends a big basketball if they want a basketball court. And all of his testimonials from other people. He sends pictures so that they could see. He talks about his courts that he's completed for Celine Dion and his other celebrities that are here in Las Vegas. Several of the people who own casinos have purchased from him. It's a beautiful package that the customer gets. And then they call him back and they set up an appointment. He takes them out to see a court. They design it. And he uses every piece of the $1 million equation from retention. So he has a marketing calendar that sometimes he implements. Now that my agency implements it for him, we're a little better at. But before it was, okay. But he'll tell you that too. So we got his target market, people who could afford it, right? They need to have a big enough backyard. We go down through what his follow-up is. He has that shock and awe package that shows up and all of the follow-up. We do the retention. He sends a monthly newsletter to everybody so that they can tell other people, because once you get one, it's not like you're going to buy another one from him, right? So we really had to leverage his existing customers to tell other customers so that they could get their own backyard courts. We had a referral contest. He loves that. He's constantly getting referrals. And then he uses probably 6 of the 85 ways. But he's already at, this year going to be $1.6 million using just 6. So, because once you get so big, it makes it hard to manage all of those without a full team. When we first started with him, it was just him and an assistant. Now he has a full crew. Still have an assistant, but she's now full-time. She was part-time. He has his own location. I mean, we used to do it out of his house. I mean, things have changed dramatically for him. And as far as his accelerators, he doesn't have a continuity because it's a one-time purchase. But his accelerators that work really, really well are two. First, it's his affluent pricing. So we went from just getting an average of about $2,000 a quart because he was like, well, it cost me this, and I should be okay to just take $2,000. That's not how you price your things, okay? All the way to now he makes between 10 and 25,000 on each quart. That can change your cash flow. That can change your bottom line, and it can change how quickly you grow to the $1 million level, right? And he also exclusively uses joint venture partners. Pardon me. And with his joint venture partners, they are other people that are in the backyard, other people who have access to his affluent target market, and other people who can send him new clients. So with that, we nurture these folks. We make them feel important to us and very special so that they're constantly referring. All right. All using the $1 million equation. So I hope by now that you feel like you could do it. You can really implement the $1 million equation in your business. The reason why I put all of these things together is because I kept getting people to say, great book, but I don't know how it works in my business. So there were, 4 examples of how I specifically used it in my own, as well as ways that you could use it for Miles and for Walter and for Don and for Dr. Wells. And hopefully now you have a checklist of how you can do it in your own. But if you're still on the fence, here's what I'd like to provide for you or offer to you or make sure that we can help. And how can we help? We can help by doing a couple of things. Number one is I have coming up in August where I'm going to be live. And in that, I'm going to help you with each piece of the $1 million equation and take you through all of the things that I do for my private clients that we'll do for you. The checklists, the templates of how to come up with a great solution, how to come up with your right target market, how to create your marketing calendar, how to, what your retention strategy should look like. Do you want to do a big ass Christmas party? Well, if you do, I can show you exactly how I did it. I have a private client right now that instead of doing it at Christmas, we do it the first week of November. And we call it a beauty bash. And so we did it November 5th of last year, and we sold $62,500 in one night worth of stuff by just saying thank you to our existing customers. I know, fun. But it works in all sorts of different businesses. So we'll help you create your marketing calendar, your retention strategies, your reactivation strategy. That's probably my favorite one to do because it helps you make money right now. It helps you get people in, people win them back, people who used to love you, because I used to love you. Oh, how? Okay. People who used to love me, it helps them come back and reactivate them. Then I help you get referrals. I help you figure out how to get people talking about you, and not only talking about you, but referring you, telling other people that they need to come and see you. After that, we go through the 85 ways, right? 85 ways. So we can figure out minimum 10 for you. So remember, even with Dr. Wells, it went very fast, 385 to 1.2 in 9 months. But that's because we did it for you, right? Just you doing 3 or 4 of these, like Walter, just finding additional products so that now you can double what they're spending with you. Gonna help the business. So you don't have to do all 9, but knowing all 9 And knowing what comes next for all 9 will help you. And it's probably the fastest way that you can make money immediately is spending that time with me. So I'd like to do that for you. The second thing I'd like to do is all of these folks, Dawn, Miles, Dr. Wells, Walter, all of them, what changed the business from where they are to really spark it is they got to spend a lot of time with me. So I want to invite you and a spouse and a partner and a friend to come out to Las Vegas. So I've got an awesome event that's September 15th through 17th. It's here in Las Vegas. It's called MDE Live. Accelerate the Momentum. And I'm going to help you take everything that we've done together, right, in our online class, because that I'm live. I'm actually there. It's not like me in a video, but it's me and you chatting. You can ask me exactly what you need help on, and I'll be there to answer it for you. You're going to be here live with me, and you'll have these and these and everything else that I have at my disposal for you to put together your own binder and you to put together your own action plan that you can implement yourself. So we call it Take Action Weekend, that I stole from another one. You'll see in the video from Lolita. You gotta watch it. Low. Take Action Low. I took it from her. Take Action Low. She created Take Action Weekend, and in 6 weeks' time, built a 5-figure business a month. 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Yeah. Working with me, putting it all together. It's a great video. You gotta watch it. But we spend some time together putting that all together. Okay. For 3 days here in Vegas. It's not so hot anymore. We have some fun because we all know I know how to throw a party, but we also put it together so that you can make some money. And if you've been with me this long, and if you spent this 53 minutes with me now, I know it went fast, huh? I know. If you spent this time with me, I also want to give you one other bonus, okay? And that is, I'm going to actually do 2 projects for you. So I'm going to give you a list of some things that my agency can handle for you. So here's how I would choose which ones you want us to do for you. Is wherever you're stuck. You know, is it a technology stuck? Is it you don't know what to say and you're wowing welcome? You don't know how to present the party. You don't know how to get people there. Well, my agency is going to actually do that for you. I know. All right. So there's a big button below. And on the big button, say, yeah, Rochelle, I'm interested. Let me tell you, during this launch, so during these times, there's a deadline, all right? There's definitely a deadline. And I can only take so many because, first of all, my agency is already working with my private clients. So to get them to do stuff for you is going to take some time. 2, you know, there's only so many seats at the live event. And 3, there's only so much room where it becomes not effective, right? So if you're interested at all in getting the $1 million equation done for you, if you're interested at all in making sure that you can come out, if you're interested at all in going deeper into the $1 million equation, if what I told you is great, because if I tell you that's just on the surface, okay, on the surface, and you could have gotten this information from reading my book, by the way. But what happens is I go over an hour into every single topic that we have with a checklist, with a template, all the things that are going to help you build your own $1 million business. Then plus you get my agency's help. If you're at all interested, I want you to click that button below and say, you know what, I'm interested. I don't care. I'm not going to tell you right now how much the price is, because you need to start making decisions and not base them on price. Number 1, the best deal is if you take all 3 of them. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that, and because that's who I like to work with, is people who take action and do it. But I'm also giving you a tremendous deal. I mean, one that I've never done before in my life. Never done it before. So they asked, "Well, Rochelle, why are you doing it?" And here's the reason. Okay, I am especially affected by what's going on in our country, and I believe that nothing good happens until we decide to do good, until we decide to help those who either don't know or have never gotten the opportunity. I was very lucky in that I got two men to mentor me and to really give me the opportunity to learn. You know, the first one was he let me at 19 years old come in and run his business. I mean, I ran my first commercial at 19. You know, what a bonus. I mean, I had employees. I was managing his tax preparation business. And we grew it to over $1 million in 4 months. And he let me do that at 19 while I was at UCLA. And that was my first taste of, I really like this. He was amazing. And I'm grateful to him. He didn't have to do that, you know, but he believed in me and he believed in what I'm doing. The second one was the telephone guy, you know, how I even got into the telephone business, right? And he said, you know, Rochelle, I'm gonna let you do it. Just do it. Just don't put me out of business. That's what he said to me. Well, that was freeing. I was like, well, I'm not gonna put you out of business. You know, one of the things is it's easy to be fearless though with other people's money, but just that fact that he believed in me. And I don't know about you, but you know, having somebody to believe in you changed my life. And I feel compelled to change other people's lives by believing in them. By telling you that I believe in you, that I believe in your business. And that if I can do it, yeah, you know, that's why this video is over an hour. You know, not because, oh, well, yeah. It's because I set out to do 20 minutes. But I don't want to give you half-ass information. I want to make sure that I'm giving you the whole information. And from the bottom of my heart, give you every single thing that you need so that you can build your own $1 million business. So they said, you know, well, Rochelle, you know, well, just the book wasn't enough. Okay, so now I've created for you these 7 trainings over 7 weeks that I'm going to go step by step, in depth in there with you. So then the next excuse I heard was, well, Rochelle, you know, it's not like you're there live. I will be there live, but come out and spend that time with me so that I can hug you and that I can encourage you. And when it gets hard, I can push you through it so that you can get to where you're going to be. So I've included that in this package this time. And then I've always heard, well, it would just be so easy if you could just do it for me. All right. So now I'm going to do that too. So now there are no more excuses. Click the button. You can see, I'm going to lay it out for you. It's not, look, this could easily be $10,000 package. And there's people out there charging $10,000 package for less content than I'm going to give you in my pinky. And I'm just telling you what I did care about them. It's not 10,000. It's not 5,000. It's nowhere near that. It's nowhere near that. This is a no-brainer. And if you don't see the value in this, then I haven't done my job over the last 3 videos. And okay, I'll accept that. But what I want you to see is I hope you see that it's in reach. I hope you see that exactly what you want to do is in reach and that it's there for you. So if you don't see the button, you can see the button by going to RochelleShaw.com in case you see this video somewhere else. It's not on the actual page, but it's time. You deserve this particular business. You deserve to get it off the ground. You deserve the independence that it has. You deserve it. And I'd love to share with you everything that I learned. And I do it as quickly and as efficiently as possible so that we can get you from where you are to where you really want to be. All right? Okay. So that's it. That's it. That's it. Hopefully it helped. Hopefully, you got some really great content. Hopefully you got some action items. And if you're ready to join me, I can't wait. I can't wait to see you in person so that I could pinch your cheeks and hug on you and love on you and tell you how excited I am for your business and how my team start working on the projects for you. All right, you guys. I'll see you later. Thanks so much.